Okay, now this follows from the next one. I wrote it down so that you, just to put it more practical for you. What you concentrate on, you become. That's another important understanding. What you concentrate on, you become. So, the first part of the law of success, is that concentration. Just the idea of concentration. You know that if you want to succeed in anything whatsoever in life, whether it's material, spiritual, artistic or cultural, anything, political, religious, anything, you need to concentrate to attain success. But here is a more refinement of the wisdom. This is a slight twist to it. What you concentrate, you become. Now, that's another subtle understanding. Here, a sense of discrimination has to come in. You know, before that you have the general law that, okay, if you concentrate on anything, you succeed in that particular field or endeavor or whatever. But here now, another deeper layer of wisdom comes in. What you concentrate on, you become. So it's not enough to know that you concentrate on any old thing. If you want to become a bus driver, you concentrate on driving buses and you become a bus driver. That's fine. But now there's another layer comes in. What you concentrate on, you become. Which means that you have to discriminate what you concentrate on. You have to work it out before. And do you really want to do that? Do you really want to succeed in playing ping pong? Or do you really want to succeed in beating the guy at the pub, how many jugs of beer you can drink? I mean, here comes the discrimination comes in. What am I going to concentrate on? Because whatever I'm going to concentrate on, I'm going to become. This is a much more deeper revelation of the knowledge. You say, well, is it worthwhile for me to concentrate on this thing? Because if I do, I become it. But if I become it, is it really worthwhile to become that? Here you have a little bit more wiser person. You know, you could say to yourself that, okay, I have an opportunity to become the manager of a vast business empire. Maybe Frontera, was it Frontera? Frontera. I can become the supreme global manager of Frontera. If I sacrifice everything, I quit my wife, my children, my everything else, and I just concentrate on becoming a manager in Frontera, and nothing else matters. I walk over everybody. It's nothing else matters by hook or by crook or by fair or by foul means I'm going to succeed as a manager. Okay, so you become a success, but is that really worth it? In other words, when you come to this next level of the wisdom, you kind of think to yourself, okay, I can succeed. I know, I can do this. I can do that because I have the power. Just by sheer concentration, I can get there. But is it really worthwhile for that to attain that goal? Is it really worthwhile? Is it really what my soul wants? Is it really what I really want? What's my objective? Just to get more money or get a happiness? Because, you know, there are a lot of people in the world are successful and they trample down everybody and everything else in the process, but they're not actually happy. Obviously, they can earn vast sums of money, but it doesn't make them actually happy. It doesn't make them feel really good within themselves, good about themselves. So when you come to that level of wisdom, then you think, well, okay, if I'm going to do this, will it really make me happy? Will it give me internal harmony? Will it make my mind peaceful? Will I feel that I'm satisfied in life? Am I satisfied with my living doing this? So you see, you learned one lesson, concentration equals success. Second lesson, okay, but what am I going to concentrate on? So it's very, very important because the allurement of the world is very, very strong. And you know, very often the case is that as I quoted many times, it's very typical with children. One of them wants to be an artist or something, or expressing more in a creative way. But mom and dad says, no, it happens to be that the mother is a lawyer and the father is a chief justice or something. No, you're going to the law because you earn heaps of money. Okay. So the poor kid gets to university, gets his degree, becomes a lawyer, and is miserable for the rest of his life because that's not what he really wanted to do. So here where discrimination comes in, irrespective of what your parents told you to do, or your tribe, or your family, or your friends, or your teachers, you think, is that success, if I'm going to achieve this goal, is that really make me happy? Is it how I feel in harmony with myself, harmony with the world around you? Is it really me, or is it a projection by somebody else projected that idea onto me? Because parents always project their ideas onto the children, and the children do it, and then they find out, well, it's not really them at all. So there's a whole lot of adjustment also at life as a result of it. Anyhow, I'm just trying to explain to you, and you can look back at your own life as well as an example. But what I'm trying to explain is that it's important when you come to the understanding that you can succeed in anything you want to, because you can. There's a power within you which can make you successful. But then the next question is, okay, what do I want to be successful at? What is my purpose of life? What is it that I want to succeed in? Okay, so that's the next level of wisdom. And you can do that at any time. You can do that when you are young, still at school, or at university, or the middle age, or an old age. At any given time, this law applies to you. Even in old age, you can ask yourself, well, if I concentrate on this, am I going to be happy? When you're retired, you can play golf all day, or you can go and play croquet with those guys and ladies with the white hats and the white shorts and everything else. Have you seen those guys from the past, good old ages? You have a little thing and then you the ball. Okay, now you can say, well, if I'm going to succeed in this, is it really gives me the ultimate happiness in life? I mean, is it really me? Is it important that I succeed in this? Is it really the most fantastic achievement of my life? Okay, so you question yourself. You question yourself at any age. You can question yourself now. It doesn't matter what age. You look at your life at that moment and say, all right, this is what I'm doing now. This is what I to succeed in. Now, is it really the most important thing? Okay. Next. Very simple. What about your spiritual life? As I said, most people, they are very involved in the world, which is fine. It's quite natural to do so. There's nothing wrong with it. But for many, the question of spiritual life is kind of on the fringe. They are either not interested in it at all, or if they're a little interested, it's kind of there, I will do that sometime, later on. It's not important for me now. You have, as I said, the 100% materialistic people who don't bother with spiritual things whatsoever. They're not interested. They're just interested in living, okay? So that's fine. We discount them. They never will make it in this lifetime anyhow, so it doesn't matter for them. But there are a few fringes, who are there, and they had, when you talk about karma, reincarnation to them or something or another, they seem to understand, but they don't actually making any attempt in their real life to do real spiritual stuff. In other words, they agree with the ideas, they say, oh yeah, it's nice, and I believe, I think there is God or something like that, but there is no kind of motivation inside to do something about it. They're on what I call on the fringe. They're fringes. They kind of know that there is something else that should be done, but they're not actually going to do it or don't want to do it, okay? But what about yourself, your spiritual life, how important it is? Now, two things can happen in our lives. Either our whole life revolves around our spiritual life, or else revolves around our material life, and we are a little bit of fringes. We are a little bit interested in the spiritual stuff. It's there, and every now and then we dabble in it or do something about it every now and then. Or is your spiritual life the only thing that really matters? This is very important. The Christ said that where your treasure is, your heart is also. In other words, where is your treasure? Is your treasure a material living only, or is your treasure a spiritual living? And you can balance the two out. You can be materially living and spiritual living all at the same time. But what it means is that you have to focus in two different directions. You have to concentrate on the spiritual life, at the same time concentrate on your material life. And it's not impossible. This is the ideal human condition. So we now come to the next level of wisdom and understanding that we also need to concentrate on the spiritual life. In whatever degree we have to concentrate on the material world because of family, because of jobs, because of responsibility and whatever, we know that that's established, we have to do that. But we also know that we also have to concentrate on the spiritual life. Why? Because after all, when you die, what happens? This is always, I would ask a person a question. No matter what they do in their life, how successful they are in their politics, in anything, you say to them, what happens to you when you die? Now, if the person says and I don't know, then he says you are missed out already. One who has a clear perception knows that when your physical body dies, when you leave this body, you have to go somewhere. It's the absolute rule. And wherever you go and whatever you do afterwards is determined by what you've done before. The basic student knows this. The most basic student of the spiritual path knows that there is an afterlife and knows that the afterlife is the effect of this life. Therefore, once you realize that, whatever happens to me afterwards, in the long eons of time, is determined by what I'm doing now, then you say, oh my God, I better start paying attention to it. If this is a fact that something happens to me after when the physical body dies, it's only a temporary thing, you're only here for a little while, and then you're moving on. But then you're moving on to what? If you realize that you're moving on to what you create now, then you say, maybe I should concentrate a little bit more on it. After all, I'm concentrating on my real future. The after-death condition is your real life, your real future. Most people don't even bother to think about it. They live and die like zombies, and that was it. Because they think that when they die, there's nothing anymore. You cease to exist. Everything ceases to exist. You are nothing. Well, that's an easy philosophy. But of course, when they actually leave the physical body, they come into a terrible shock because they realize that it wasn't nothing. It's actually very, very important, and would have been very important to adjust their physical life today. Cosmic law. The after-death condition is the real life. This is only a holiday, a journey. Quite literally, it's just a short, temporary looking at how things are in the physical dimension. That's all. You're just coming temporary here, looking around, doing a few bits and going back again. Your real home is on the internal dimensions, in internal worlds. This is just a little holiday, every now and then you make. Now, so then we say, what about my spiritual life? Obviously realize that somehow you have to actually internally focus. You know that you are on a short journey here, a very brief journey, as I mentioned yesterday. Even if you lived 800 years, it was a very brief journey. When you realize that your soul has been in existence for many millions of years and will be in existence for many, many, many millions of years still, coming here for 7 to 8 years is nothing. It's just a sneeze, or not even a sneeze. It's not of any sort of big deal. So when you look at yourself as a living entity over eons of time, you say, oh God, I should really think about it, That sort of a spiritual thing must be really important. After all, that's where I come from and that's where I really live, and I'm here on a holiday. It's just like that, when you go on holiday Some of you tourists go to holiday and went to Hungary. You know, last time when you went to Hungary, some of you tourists, you went to Hungary. That was a nice holiday, wasn't it? Anyhow, so you went on to this holiday, but you knew that, I have to go back to the land of the long white cloud, right? You know, you were there, but you knew that you have to come back, and that's fine. So what about if you are here and you say, I have to go back shortly to my other home, the real home, which is much longer. I have to actually live there. So when you realize that, then you say, maybe I should do something about it, you know, while I have a chance. Actually, while you have a chance, maybe you should do something about your spiritual life.